That across to some more developments as well coming in now. A day after rebels swept into Damascus, crowds have queued up border crossings between Syria and Turkey as well as crossings between Lebanon and Syria. Syrians have expressed happiness at being able to return to their homeland. Many spoke about how they fled to Turkey when the civil war began 13 years ago. Major General Sudhakarji, defense expert, is joining us live. Major General Sudhakarji, what do you make of these developments coming in from the borders of Syria? Border crossings have suddenly filled up. So many Syrians are now returning after multiple years, in fact, some after almost a decade.
Yeah, Uday, good evening. Thank you, and compliments to the previous very distinguished and esteemed panelists, co-panelists. Very interesting. I have been thinking as to why things are happening the way it is unfolded suddenly, all of a sudden in Syria. So following points, being a military man, they come to my mind. First and foremost thing is there is a historical legacy, as per my understanding, that there is the old baggage which Syria has been carrying for century, more than half a century. And that baggage is the Assad regime, which has been carrying on. It's an autocratic kind of a governance which has denied the basic aspirations and necessities to the people. This is my limited understanding, first point. Second point is that by virtue of the geography of Syria, it becomes a kind of a transit route, a supply chain transit route between Iran up to Hezbollah's, Hamas, primarily these two, I would say. Third and most important thing that comes to my mind is there is a Turkish interest by having triggered this particular offensive. It's in the open media that whatever is happening, the STS has been triggered to go in for the offensive, counter-offensive rather, I would say, all of a sudden, because the following things have come to light. First and foremost thing, Russia and Iran, who are partners or the collaborators of Syria so far, they have been weakened to large an extent, or they're unduly committed in the respective internal issues and the ongoing combat in the conflict in Ukraine. Second thing is that Iran and its proxies have been actually weakened to large an extent. Third is that the supply chain route between Iran up to Hezbollah and the Hamas has been not decimated, but they have been intercepted effectively. They have been blocked very, very effectively. So the men, material, resources, logistic backup, everything is getting somehow or the other blocked en route, and it is not reaching up to the people where it matters. And the next point that comes to my mind is Israel, by all chance, would like to enjoy this particular reprieve. When I say reprieve, what I mean is that Syrian offensive having taken off, they have got a small window of opportunity to go beyond the Golan Heights. Just take your mind back to 74 or 67. They had restricted themselves to a particular line, but I am told the latest input coming from my friends whom I know, they are well into Syria by more than 14 kilometers, deep inside the Syrian territory, and they're going very fast and moving towards Damascus side. What is the purpose and intent? The military aim and objective is not clear. So, but what I am trying to highlight is that Israel, in all earnest, would also want to create a buffer zone so that the stakeholders or the main participants or the actors in Syria today, they do not spill over to Israel in any case. So who are the main participants or the actors? That we need to understand. The Assad regime, which has fallen, in any case, they are withdrawing. And who are in the Assad regime? There are three components which are in support. At the cost of reputation, let me just go over them. The internal resources of the security forces of the Syria, one. Number two, Iran. Number three, Russia. Number four, Hezbollah has been of great assistance to Syria, be it in terms of training or giving the military hardware, as also combat support to large an extent. And with this kind of a thing, that is the primary stakeholder. The second one is the Syrian Democratic Force. So what is the Syrian Democratic Force? Now, Syrian Democratic Force and the Syria Force, the regime, they are in cohort or they are in collaboration with each other. They had a détente a few years back. They understand each other. They have not gone in for each other's neck for quite some time. and they are supporting each other. Essentially, it comprises of Iraqi militias and the Kurdish militia. So what is the third component? The third component is the STS, which is a fallout of the Al-Qaeda. The leader is this gentleman who we call as Al-Janu, Abu Muhammad Al-Julani. He is the leader. 2003, during that time, when Abu Bakr was the leader of Al-Qaeda, he enjoyed the patronage and also the blessings of the Al-Qaeda leadership, but they fell apart. So he came to Syria. And after having come to Syria, he consolidated at Idlib and he started running a parallel government. So much so, he went to the extent of assuring US that US is not my target or his target. His target was essentially Assad. He said Assad is the one who is being targeted not by him but by the people of Syria because he is denied the basic the aspiration and the basic requirement of livelihood. So therefore, having declared there are no recorded any violent incident which has taken place wherein either US has attacked this gentleman STS's party or the STS party has attacked them. But more to that is that the Turkish army is in support, and the Turkish army is called as the SNA, it is called as Syrian National Army, which is supporting the STS. So both of them together have become an anti-government force by terms of the quantum of the resources, military hardware, and the offensive capability. They moved from Idlib to Aleppo. From Aleppo, they went to Hama to the Homs, and now Damascus is under threat. So in times ahead, there is a potential threat, this particular resource spilling over.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. Stay with us. We're carrying more news now coming in this hour. A group of men